Hi, guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Connector. Doesn't every great opportunity in life begin with a single conversation? I am your connector, Arielle Leavitt. Networking, making introductions, and bringing people together from all walks of life to engage, share, learn, and grow is my passion. In this podcast, we dive into the people that are behind the community and connection and have them share with us how different connections in their life grew their business and opportunities. Let's dive into today's episode. No. Okay. Community starts with a connection, and connection starts with a common interest. So my guests here today, and why I brought them together, is because of the common interest of community and how they bring the community together. It is truly a Venn diagram that I have here today. I have a career coach. I have a career coach, an artist. I have an artist, and then I just have a business coach. So talk about coaching, artistry, I guess is the word, and all the fun things in between. And it's so fun how it's like one side of the brain and the other side of the brain kind of all coming together today. So we're bringing the whole brain today. Okay, so who do I have with me today? I have Maya Sharfy. I just already butchered that. Okay. And then I have Papu Koliopoulos. And then I have Dee Keller. That one I got really quick.
That one you got.
So my guests today are just amazing. I met them all different ways. And I was like, once I was talked and had individual conversations with everybody, I was like, you guys all need to meet because there's so many similarities that you guys have. And I feel like the conversation with all of it is just going to be amazing, and the collaboration and the content. So we're going to just dive into this. So Maya, let's start with you, since you are in the middle of the Venn diagram. No. Actually, let's take this away. Dee, let's start with you. Okay. Then we're going to go to Papu. Then we're going to go to Maya, because Maya is in the middle of the Venn diagram.
Okay.
So Dee,
yeah,
let's get into you.
Let's do it.
So you help businesses with strategic planning, and let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Policies and procedures and systems.
Yeah, I know. That's like the go-to word. I am a strategic advisor for CEOs and artists and visionaries. So I work with entrepreneurs everywhere on their strategic alignment, ensuring that they're moving trajectory with their business objective goals. Sometimes that looks like creating business and procedures. And sometimes it looks like redefining their vision and aligning that back for their overarching goals.
Yeah. So I've had the pleasure of working with you.
Yes, you have.
And it's been amazing and so much fun. Mm-hmm. And then, okay, so Papu, let's get into artistry, because like I love your story, and you were on the podcast. Oh, actually, Dee and Papu were both on the podcast before. And something about you is like you just fell into artistry. Like you fell into being an artist. You realized you love painting. It's something that let's talk about it. I'm gonna let you talk about it because you weren't always an artist.
No. I mean, always an artist by nature, but not by profession or career. I guess I'm an artist full time, and I only launched my art live, like to the world, only a couple of years ago, and since then my whole life and life path trajectory has changed entirely. I've had some really cool opportunities in the process. I had a solo show in New York City last year and in Houston, Texas, and I was also in a residency. And this year I'm currently preparing for my first international show in Sydney, Australia. And it's going to be like my first break into the international market. So it's something I'm preparing for right now, along with some other cool clothing collabs that I'm working on with some big name designers, which those pieces are still in the works, but once those pieces are finished, I can't wait to kind of show it to the world.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And one thing I will say about when I met you, you had your company Milk,
mm-hmm.
and then you also had your artwork.
Mm-hmm.
You were doing both at the same time.
Yeah,
and then as time went on, your artwork really just took off, and you're like, I need to put more effort and time into this. I can't do both at the same time. And you closed Milk,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And then it's interesting, now it's kind of coming full circle back to clothing.
Yeah, which I'm really happy about, because I love fashion, and I love design, and I love the details of it, and it matters a lot to me. what I wear and what I have on my body. So to be able to incorporate my art into design and sort of have my hands in both hats, let's say, I feel really excited about that, and just the opportunity to collaborate with other people that are aligned to, you know, similar, even on like an energetic level. I know that sort of every door I'm walking in is because of that alignment. It's not because of anything forced or me reaching out necessarily and being like, do you want to do this? It's sort of like the opportunities have unfolded themselves. And that's sort of my motto this year, is whatever comes naturally is where I want to be. And this has been the most natural process, and it's completely aligned to, you know, like you said, me having a start in my career with fashion. And I'm just really proud of that. I feel there's like a thread of love between myself and whoever else I'm in exchange with on that level, and it feels really good.
I see you like agreeing a lot with these
yeah,
things.
well,
So.
I liked the idea that it was a thread because of fashion. So I just
Oh,
thought
yeah,
that
I
was
didn't
cute.
even think of
So yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really fun, and I love how. Okay, so let's get to you, Maya, and then we can really all jump in on the whole conversation.
Sure.
Because Maya, I love how you are truly using both sides of the brain with your art and with your coaching. So let's talk about that. Like,
Yeah. So, okay. So my main thing is career and executive coaching, and I specialize in working with women leaders who are trying to advance to the next level. And sometimes that means getting a new job. Sometimes that means figuring out how to actually get chosen for the promotions you want. And it means knowing how to lead in a way that you are achieving like big results without like eating up your personal life, your time, grind. And so that actually requires using your brain in ways that you haven't before. And like that is so exciting to me. And I feel like everything that I do is about just like, I love my brain. I love your brain. It can do the most amazing things. Like, and I think just especially women get so many messages that like this just drives me, like this is mind boggling, but there's studies around like 5 and 6 year old kids, and before then boys and girls have the same self-identity around like being smart. But in this study, they actually looked at like, so they gave kids 2 different kinds of challenges or puzzles or games. And they were like, these are the ones for kids who are smart, and these are the ones for kids who try hard. And what they found is around age 5 or 6, girls start gravitating towards the one for kids who work hard rather than kids who are smart. And so for me, like a big mission that I have is like sloughing off all of those messages and all of those learned behaviors that make us grind and overwork and try to be A students, when sometimes that A student is actually missing the point because we're not actually achieving like big results with less. So that's what I do. And it's funny because I think I don't see myself going into art full time, but my previous career was a designer, and there's always been this part of me that's loved like visual things and making. And I think the way that I relate to the art that I think speaks to me most is I usually feel like there's a question the artist is trying to answer through the work. And so I do a lot of work that's very abstract and very fluid. And I think what I'm trying, one of the things, right, there's never one thing, but like one of the things I'm trying to solve for or figure out is, so myself, I'll speak for myself, but this is true for so many of my clients, like we love plans and we love control and we love knowing the rules, and we're really good at playing by the rules. And for me, I'm like, what happens if you pour water and you actually cannot plan what happens and it's unpredictable and then you respond to it? And I'm like, well, I don't want to respond to it because I want to know what it was going to do so I can plan out my response in advance. And like, then it's there and I'm like, how am I going to make the right move, right? And so I just think that like that question of how do you not be controlled and not trying to make it like pretty, because sometimes when you're trying to make a painting pretty, then that's when it backfires and it actually becomes ugly, right? And so I think like for me, I do a studio day every 2 weeks, and it's like, and sometimes I work in between, but I also have a toddler, and so I have limited time. And it's just like coming back and answering that question and being like, I don't really want to be doing this. I'd rather have it like it's uncomfortable, and then like doing that again, you know?
oh my gosh, there's so much to unpack right there. I don't know if anybody wants to like.
I love that question you
Yeah.
pose, right? Like, how do you know how to lean into the uncomfortable? I think a lot of that goes into how you learn to trust yourself. And this is true everywhere, whether you're in business or you're in artistry or you're a full-time mom, really. It doesn't really matter which direction you find yourself in, but learning how to trust yourself is one of the most essential skill sets in today's day and age. If you can learn to trust yourself, then you can learn to navigate the resiliency that's needed in the function that we call life, right? Like how to navigate the nuances of unpredictability and as well as the predictability. But learning to trust yourself immediately moves yourself from that question and puts you in a place of sureness. Like, however this moves, it's right for me. So it's a little balance of intuition as well as mind work, but it is really based and like solidified by that trust in yourself. And that's a really interesting space to be in.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I'd be curious to hear how you think about this, Papu, or if this lands in your work, but I think for me, the places, like painting, I don't trust myself, right? I don't trust myself. But the way to learn how to trust myself is to go to places that I don't and to actually be okay with the fact that I'm just really uncomfortable and to be like, this is a negative emotion. Like, that is okay. No, I don't want the negative emotion. Run away. And it's like, no, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, and then, like over time, I think at least for me, only in retrospect do I have that trust. And so, like, I was thinking, this happened a couple years ago. I was like realizing, and this is more in my coaching, but I was like, in my business, I'm like, I feel like I can come up with any idea to solve any problem ever. And I was like, I just think my brain is just so brilliant. And then I was like,
I love that.
And then I was thinking back, I was like, when I was in design grad school, I was like, I'm the stupidest person here. I don't have good ideas. Everybody else is smarter than me. Like, I'm an imposter. They shouldn't have let me in. Like, all of that stuff. And it's like, and I was like, I just wanted to be like, hug my previous self and be like, you have a beautiful brain. Like, you just don't know it yet, you know? And like, so I think for me, the thing is, what if the leading edge of how you grow, you just like are going to not feel good. And like, maybe the skill is like feeling good with not feeling good, right? Or
Yeah,
like not, which like,
it's on the same continuum, right?
Right.
That like pain and desire, it's on the same continuum as like not feeling good and feeling good. It's the same balance. So like, one brings the other to fruition. How you navigate that not feeling good space is how you get to that feeling good.
Yeah.
Right.
Also,
Yeah.
There's totally something about the act of creating that is the good feeling space outside of like the judgments we might be giving ourselves, like whether it's like, like for me, I know that sometimes I can work too hard on a piece and it will ruin it. And I liked it like just like the first few seconds when I laid my hand on the canvas, so just like the quick swishes that I might have given. I love it there, but then I'll go in and I'll add these like fine line details, and I'm like, why did I do that? I liked it so much better when it was just like a flow of creation versus a trying of it. And so for me, there's like it takes a skill set to allow yourself to create judgment free. And I know all those emotions that can come with making something that doesn't align, but it's something you created, and that's like the point of it. And I sit with those emotions, and over the last couple of years, I've really learned to sit with emotions like anger and sadness, because I realized I had so much of it inside, but I'm such like a light-filled person and almost like would fabricate joy because I'm like, no, I don't want to be experiencing these emotions. And so painting over the last few years in the way that I do, and allowing myself to sit with those uncomfortable feelings of like, I don't like this, or it doesn't, it's not what I wanted to make, but just like allowing it to be the thing and allowing the emotions to come. Like sometimes to the point of like, I'll paint with my eyes closed. Because I feel like when we take away some of the senses that maybe might bring our own mind to like cause judgment, it's so much more free, and it's so much more like what I want it to be, which is just creating without giving it boundaries. and then like whatever emotions come from that, just being with them versus trying to change it or fix it. Because like I've found out that if you have those kinds of emotions inside, which I think all of us do, there's likely a reason they're there and need to come out.
Totally giving that space,
Mm-hmm.
allowing that. Oh, this is so good. All right, we're going to be coming back in just a second with more of all of this goodness that I'm like obsessed with you guys. Chase Studio is about making your home feel like you have a space that reflects your personality, style, and life. Whether it's a renovation, new build, or room refresh, Chase Studio offers 2D and 3D design packages to bring your vision to life. Our 2D packages are perfect for those who want a quick, stylish update, while our 3D packages take it to the next level, giving you a full walkthrough of the space before it's built. With our interactive 3D walkthrough, you can experience your space in real time, ensuring the layout and design are just right before you commit. Plus, if you're tackling a renovation or a new build, Chase Studios full-service design ensures your home is functional, beautiful, and truly you every step of the way. Let's make your dream space a reality. Visit Chase Studio at chasestudiodesign.com to learn more. Every great business needs a board. As a women business owner, you deserve one too. Welcome to the Boardroom, where women entrepreneurs find the support, focus, and community they need to grow their business. The Boardroom is a sounding board for ideas, challenges, and success to build connections, gain insight, and stay focused on creating your best business yet. Call 954-428-4707 today for more information on the Boardroom. Empower your business because success starts here. Feeling the pain after a car accident, work injury, or just challenges of everyday life? At MedAmerica in Deerfield Beach, we're here to help you feel better and get back to doing what you love. Our certified outpatient rehabilitation facility offers expert chiropractic care and physical therapy, all tailored to you. With one-on-one attention from our experienced team, we focus on relieving your pain and helping you heal. Call 954-428-4707 today or visit medamericarehab.com. MedAmerica, where better starts here. You've been listening to the Connector Podcast, where we talk about how being open to the right conversations can open up so many opportunities to build your business. Call to the show at 888-994-4995, Studio A. As we come back and they do the countdown, I always want to be like, blast off! Because we're here. We're like, it's so much fun. It's a party. And I feel like I get the best job in the world is like seeing and hearing you guys have these conversations where it's just like so fun to like get amazing people in the room together and just hear what happens and like what can come about it and how you guys get to pick each other's brain and like, and then also collaborate on stuff. So it's just really fun. And okay, so we're going to come back to this whole conversation of just, I was like, I don't even know where we are because we took a commercial break and then I got into like more conversation. I'm like listening to you guys talk about having like guides or not guides, coaches on your artwork, artistry. I don't want to butcher it. I can lie. I'm like artistry.
Art practice.
There we go. Art practice. Yeah. There we go. So, but I love how you guys are asking each other questions, and I think it's so beautiful. And then I love how, like Dee and you, Maya, are both coaches, and it's like fun that you guys can like connect on that level too.
Yeah, we're like thoughts, feelings.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's so interesting because I mean, like I've been a business coach for a couple of years now. Papu and I met about 4 years ago now, and
Dee's my partner, everyone.
we're also partners.
And we work together on a professional level.
Yes, we do all the things. And so what's really interesting is that meeting you and working in that process with you expanded so much of the artistic flow.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it became much more of like the heart of an artist, the mind of a scientist, and then the soul of an alchemist, right? Like really being able to transmute them all together. And it taught me personally as well how to engage with that flow, not just to predict it, not just to align with it, not just to resonate even with it, but really to flow in it, to let go, to really exist in the presence and watch that allowing process come back. And art is such a beautiful manifestation of that, because I remember one of the earliest conversations we had when you had first launched your art practice was your artistry was you were like, what if no one likes it?
Yeah, that was sort of like the defining moment, I guess, for me, was that question I had for myself. I just said it out loud. It was just the two of us, and I was like, not everyone's gonna like my art. And she was like, no. And I was like, all right, let's do it. You know, it was just sort of like the moment that allowed me to be free, because again, you know, like when you're creating something or you're doing something and you have your own boundaries around it, like I can only do this if this is if it's allowed, or if someone else likes it. And it's just, you got to kind of peel all of that back, because really what people want is just like what you have to offer. And I purposefully will not like look at things that inspire me when I'm getting ready to create. Like, for example, I purposefully won't be on Instagram maybe looking at other artists' artwork, because I love to learn other people's processes and other artists, like way that they create. I think it's good to like learn all different mediums and techniques, right? But I really have to, I literally envision like almost like a volume being turned all the way down, so that when I'm creating, I can just create from whatever's inside versus what someone might like, what I've previously created. Like recently I had like 20 artworks in my studio, and I'm clearing them all out, because I feel new is coming, and I don't want to keep building off of what was, even if the people love it, even if it's iconic to me or like my style, you know, like I'm just like continuously wanting to move forward. And I think part of doing that is having like a full acceptance of people might not like this.
I love this point that you're making here. It's like it's relevant in every industry, right? How you bring forth your personal story, your personal conviction, not even the ones that you made up for yourself yesterday. Right, not like an artist who does this figure or an artist who makes this kind of work. It's like every day you're something new based on who you decide to be there and what's true to you. And this is so relevant in functional business. It's the same, because often enough we are limited by the versions of ourselves that we tell ourselves we are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, totally. And I find that like it's even helpful in my personal life, just maybe accepting like I might be the villain in someone else's story. This person might blame me for X, Y, and Z. And I've just like, in a weird way, this process in my art has also been sort of like a beacon for healing within myself, to forgive myself, to move forward in things, to allow myself to stand true even in like boundaries. You know, like if I'm like, I want to say no to this thing, for example, but this person might be upset with me. It's more important for me it's now become more important for me to be true to myself, and to honor myself, than to maybe water it down and come to a point of like doing it just because so-and-so might, you know, wants me to, or something like that. Like, being an artist, like when I say it changed the trajectory of my life, I also mean as a person and how I respond to things emotionally, or how I hear myself. It's like that thread, it all intertwines.
I know, Maya, you want to introduce.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
well,
I'm going to let you
yeah.
go in, and then I have some stuff I have to say too.
I had this like, I was like, in Dee's coach brain, when Papu said, what if no one likes it? Like, I just feel like this is like so helpful or so interesting for everyone. Like, what was going through your mind as a coach when you heard that question?
I said no, but not everyone will.
Yeah. Yeah.
The truth that what was going through my mind is that a big part of my practice and a big part of my mission in life is to follow your truth.
Yeah.
The truth cannot be negotiated with. It cannot be wavered. And as long as you're aligning to your own personal truth, you don't have to stand in against or opposition or in competition with anybody else, and everybody else sort of moves to the side. So when she said that, my mind went like because it was like, good, we finally hit the thing that's going to like pop that bubble, because not everybody will like your work, and that is true about anything you do in life, whether you're an artist or something else, right? And there's only going to be about maybe 10% of people that like the things you do. And again, even in your personal setting, it doesn't really matter if other people don't like it. You're better off alone than you are with people who don't like you or your work. Like, you're better off in alignment with the people and the things and the environment and everything really that is within your measure than aligning with something that doesn't feel true to you, and you end up betraying yourself. And when you betray yourself, it's hard to sleep at night. And when it's hard to sleep at night, you end up not liking yourself, and the process just continues to infuse disease and discomfort in your life, and you end up paying the price.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think like okay, so there are these questions, right, that we have that are really like limitations, and I think when there's something we want to do and we want to explore it, right, like be an artist full time, or I'm sure some of your clients, right, like found a company or pivot the company or whatever. There are these questions that come up, and our brains are so good at protecting us that they like sometimes don't even let us know about the questions. They're like, don't ask, don't articulate that, because once you articulate it, then you're gonna have to answer it. It's gonna be so painful. But then like when you say it out loud, because someone's in a container getting you to say it out loud, and you're like, well, what if no one likes it? Then you can be like, yeah, well, what if no one likes it? And your brain,
fun.
Yeah, well, and your brain is like, we haven't, like, that has been, we have renovated. That was like an alley, a blank wall. We were like, don't look here, like.
No, actually, we want you to look here, and let's see if we can break through and see what we come up with, right?
Because then sometimes, like, the brain that's trying to protect you doesn't want you to even consider that, because you would answer the question and then be like, and then I'll be all alone and no one will love me, right? Which is probably the answer it thinks is true. But then with your conscious mind, you can say, you can be like, well, what if no one likes it? And then, but what if I find my people? Or like, you know, you're going to have your own answers. But like, what if I find my people? What if I was put here to say this anyways? Like, what if...
Right. What if even, you know, no matter if nobody liked it, what if this is my purpose regardless?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, how do I align with that purpose while still living a very functional life?
Yeah.
And the question changes completely into, I matter enough that this is worth the consequences.
Yeah, and then your brain can get going on like the creative, like sometimes even the limitation is, it's like, like if you look at someone who wants to go after a role that they feel unqualified for, like, what if I fail at this, right? And then, and like you don't even want to ask it, but like once you've formulated that question, your brain can actually use its creativity to be like, what if I failed? What would I do? What would I do after that? Like, what would I do to try to not to fail, even if I can't control it, right? Like,
I feel like determination is oftentimes more important than like the qualifications for something. I'm right now reading this book, Think and Grow Rich, and it's talking about this guy that wanted to work with Thomas Edison, and he was totally underqualified. But he made up his mind that he would, and like kind of like everyone thought he was crazy, and he just like put everything into it, and eventually he did, and it changed the entire industry at the time. But it was just his determination that got him there. It wasn't anything else, and I think that our minds are really powerful, and we can kind of create or dismantle any experience or universe that we choose to build if we put our mind to it.
Yeah, and then allowing yourself to step into the flow, and then when you're in the flow, everything just becomes easy. And it's amazing overcoming those barriers and those things. All right. Oh my gosh, this is an amazing conversation. I am like, I want more, but I know everybody else does too. So where can everybody find you guys? Because, oh, it's just so juicy.
You can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, my website, quippedmethod.com. Papu, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Papu with a few underscores at the end.
4 to be precise, right?
4 underscores.
I hang out on LinkedIn. That's where I am. That's where my clients often are. And yeah, love LinkedIn. come find me there. But you can also just shoot me a note and email if you ever want to reach out. Maya, M-A-Y-A, at buildyourselfworkshop.com.
I love that. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank
There's so
you.
many key takeaways. And I love that it's like whatever comes naturally, I want to be. Like I love that's what you said, and it was just like totally hit home for me. And working hard and going past the why, it brings you into the flow. And also, all people want is to have. I wrote these down, and I'm so like in the conversation that I was like, I didn't want to take a second to write them down because they were so good. But all people want is to be authentic, so that like their offer just comes through. And it's hard to be authentic, and it's hard to just truly trust themselves and lean into themselves. But that's all that we want, and that's when the flow happens. Okay, guys, I look forward to seeing you all next week for a whole new episode. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to connect with me here. I love to hear more from you at arielletheconnector@gmail.com. See you all next week for a whole new connection.